Well, well, well. My dude arenas.
Same old Bobby, same old beat. Yeah, they got nothing on me. The same old cars, the same old streets. But yeah, they got nothing on me.
Were you watching Tyler Till? I watched him lose one game as Aatrox, I think. But...
I'm sure I told you so.
What are you up to? I'm hanging out. Waiting for Emily to wake up, waiting for Lonnie to finish. Then I'll go to sleep, wake up, fly around. What are the odds StarCraft 3 gets announced tomorrow? 0% chance. Do you listen to a lot of progressive music? Nope. Not anymore. I need to, but...
Should've kept my receipt. Cause this sandwich I bought, yeah, it's been off for a week. And now Tesco stealing my money. When positivity seems hard to reach, I'll keep my head down and my mouth shut. Cause if you're going through hell, we just keep going. You're easy. So easy.
Do you like the new Fleet Foxes album? I think it was okay. I don't remember listening to it, so it must not have left that strong of an impression on me. This came out like a year or two ago, right? Time do I leave? My flight leaves at 9.
Streamer man live. Why my PP hard? Bonus meme, Pepe wins. Bonus meme, cake white peeper happy bonus meme, cat jam bonus meme, bonus meme, there is no bonus meme.
D&D going to be back next week? Yeah, it should be. I think Quavo was just having a bad day today. Or it seemed like he woke up late and was feeling like shit, so... Wait, I need to offset these by one. Do I have a specific Spotify playlist? No, I just use YouTube. You should play Pathfinder Kingmaker? Those motherfuckers actually fucking emailed me and asked me if I wanted to play their game. They were gonna sponsor me again. Unreal. just replied with an LOL. I don't even know what to say to that. Why is that a bad thing? Because I was doing their game, and then the Rittenhouse stuff came up, and they canceled me midway through that sponsorship. Wait, what is happening to my brain? Did they forget? I don't know. I mean, oh, actually, maybe they didn't know. Because they emailed me and was like, hey, we know that you've done a sponsored game for us before, so do you want to do this? So, but maybe they just have a list of people that have done sponsored games for them. So maybe they actually did. Wait, this can't work. What am I doing? I think I need to offset +1 and have a space between in order to make this work, right? The Twitch clips I made at the LSI for so shit. Oh, for the manifest. There's nothing like entertaining in this. It's not. There's never gonna be anything super. What does that fall legally? Sounds scammy if they didn't pay you for the work. Or they paid me for like half of it or something.
$4.99.
I was so hyped, dude. Batteries are so hard. I finally bought I want to be able to charge my laptop on the go. I've got all these portable batteries with all this power, but I can't get it to my laptop. And I finally bought a big ass one. I was talking about it earlier. It's the one that can fucking like jumpstart your car. It's like, finally, I got a big ass battery, like 60,000 milliamp hours. And then I look at the fucking AC out or whatever, or the DC out, no, the AC out, and it's fucking 45 watts. Fuck me, dude. Why? Jesus Christ. I don't understand. Does anybody else have this thing where when you're on airplanes, like none of the airplanes can support like your fucking laptops? Like it always pops the fuse in the seat or whatever. It's so annoying. The wattage is so low on those chargers under the seats.
Scott Bradley, $4.99. I thought you went to bed. What are you doing up?
I'm just hanging out. I don't know why I'm awake, actually. Because why not? That's why.
I ain't got nothing left to give. Nothing to lose. So come on, love, try your swords. Shoot me to the ground.
Good about John Zarke's being huge flat earthed right now. Nice.
Stay up for the cat girls.
True.
I am yours. Let's not fuck around. 'Cause you are the only one.
What?
Hey Destiny, I'm sorry for implying that the entire manifesto wasn't good. Pepe laugh. Also bonus meme miasma believers Godstiny bonus meme Pepe wins. Also Destiny, why don't you use splitters in SP more? You always use sorters. Splitters have priorities. Oh.
Wait, are there splitters in this game?
Samba Taglieri, $4.99. Would love to chat sometime. Super erogatory, above and beyond the Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Best definition overheard.
Good one.
Scott Bradley, $4.99. I'm awake because I'm a mysterious vampire.
Good one.
Alexei, $5.
Wait, where's the copper that I... Oh, here. Wait, what are you talking about? Oh my god. Wait, I didn't know splitters were even in this game. I haven't used a splitter in my entire fucking factory. Holy shit. You said you need money plus sub goals, right? Imagine how much money for live. Yeah, I just need I need to finish Cyberpunk. What will we do? I had so much shit going on this week. I didn't get to finish. It's really hard to just grind games like that. Fuck me.
Have you ever played Tropico? Would you ever play it on stream?
Nope and nope. I don't even know what the fuck it is. Can you rate this person out of 10? Why are you asking me this? Are you engaged in bowling right now? Is that what you're doing?
Alexei, $5. Damn, forgot to type a message. What is your thoughts on DACA? Only got 4 hours to sleep before I got to work. Rip.
DACA? I don't know, it seemed pretty cool. Do you not think so? At least I haven't heard any arguments against DACA. DACA. What are your thoughts on cognitive thought? Deep question, bro. Have you ever interacted with Cosmic Skeptic? No? Oh my god. Isaac left Riley's server. I don't know if I said that last stream. After I told him I didn't want to fucking debate over whether or not you should use philosophy terms. Dude, he's so rude though. Oh my god. Riley was like, no. And he's like, no. He's like, okay, let me just do this. And she was like, no, hold on. He's like, no. Okay, let me go. Like, it was like his server. What the fuck? Oh my god. Ask yourself, sorry. In his Discord, he apparently said he was going to agree with you. Well, then why would he try to interrupt me? Just let me finish my point, and then I'll leave. I don't. It doesn't have to be a long conversation. I know this is fairly breaking news,
but what is your opinion of Redditors buying GME stocks? Seems like a big deal.
Wait, are Redditors buying GME stock? What does GME stand for?
You think he'll get a chance to get that Annika person on stream? She seems more open than that hypocrite dude.
No,
that guy was horrible.
I don't know how much more open she is. She's probably pretty out there. But, maybe. If I have 4 of these per second, I need 8 of these per second. So I need 16 things making this, meaning I'm gonna need 32 making motors. Christ, dude.
Here's $10 Destiny by Vorsha sandwich, then kiss and makeup, lipstick, mouth.
Thanks.
You gnome fuck!
Vosh is the one right that now that's mad, not me though, for once. Even though he didn't even get canceled or lose anything. Kinda weird how that works. Okay.
Charlie Elch, $5.
It's too late for
At
sorters.
Destiny, have you thought about expanding to TikTok to try and get to a younger audience before the lefties get to them first?
I don't have time, honestly. The biggest problem in my career right now is that I need to probably stream for 6 to 8 hours a day instead of 10 hours a day. That would free my time up to do a whole bunch of other shit. Or find somebody that can do all that other stuff, that wants to do like TikTok and shit for me. But I really like streaming, so I'll probably just chill here. But I don't know, we'll see. What did I... 16 and 32. Oh, I needed to get machines. Dude. How'd you feel about Final Fantasy VII R? Just upset that it's Kingdom Hearts memes or anything else? The ending was god awful. Parts of it were okay. Overall, it just a meh out of meh. Okay, 16 of these means that I need every second 4 of the ingredients, so 8 of these.
Hey,
Okay, so
Destiny,
16 of
just to
these,
piggyback
yes.
off what the last Dono
And
said.
then 32 of
Do you
these,
think
yes.
you can make a document or maybe a manifesto perhaps about all the Redditors buying GME stock? Would be super informative, buddy.
Do you-
Bonus meme, Slugstiny.
Do you really think so?
Samba Taglieri, $4.99. What was I like to debate Milo Yiannopoulos?
I don't know, dude. Everybody feels like they're hiding their power level. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. Do you watch the end of Dynamon versus Riley debate? Riley literally cried at the end. I think I'm going to start to adjust some of my... I think I'm going to start to adjust a lot of my vocabulary when I'm arguing against certain types of behavior. Because I've noticed that it seems to be helpful to some people to describe things that way. So, like, a lot of the quote-unquote debate tactics that people use, I'm going to switch up my vocabulary to describe them as being more like abusers than just people that are, like, dishonestly engaging. Because I think that actually is a lot more enlightening when you're kind of, like, demonstrating what somebody does. Or it seemed to be, because I had, like, a little bit of a longer conversation afterwards with Riley in terms of explaining, like, I think these are the things that happened. This is probably what you're feeling. And your feelings right now are not, like, absolutely fucking crazy. Like, I understand why you feel this way. And it seems like speaking from that direction makes somebody feel... Because I think that after certain debates with people, I think it's possible to feel a little crazy. I know that if I didn't have, like, some unbelievable sense of narcissism or whatever keeps me going, I would probably feel it too. Because it is really weird sometimes to think that, like if I were to pit myself against the average American, I'm like 99.999% more progressive than even the average American, right? And Americans are already, like, some of the most, like, socially progressive people in the world. But I'm still called, like, a racist transphobe online. It's like a very strange feeling. It's like really, really, really weird. So I can't imagine, like, I can't imagine for other people. I don't know. It's got to be like a weird feeling to deal with. I need a place to build. Do you ever consider making a video educating people on STDs? Maybe. I don't know. Do you think this level of gaslighting can be found in relationships too? Yeah, theoretically it could be, yeah. Would you say the average American is more or less progressive than the average Euro bro? Easily. Americans are incredibly, I would say on average, we still have, like, people that aren't, but I would say, like, on average when it comes to, like, pushing, like, social values or whatever, or, like, socially progressive values, I think Americans are pretty unbelievably progressive in that respect, for sure. People, like, meme on us because we have, like, our Republicans are pretty fucking crazy, but... when it comes to things like race, when it comes to things like, especially like trans people, like sexuality related stuff, like, I don't know if Americans get credit for that though, or if that's just like a byproduct of the fact that we've had to deal with so many different types of people living here that a lot of European countries don't necessarily have to deal with. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What are your thoughts on how to get rid of emotional abusers? I don't know, good question. How are you feeling about the mayoral race right now? Seems like everyone is rallying for Kimura Snipes. She seems to be like the non-Stothard person with the most name recognition for sure. I think that's probably a thing right now. But Neri, I think, is still the person to beat. But yeah, I don't know. Would you be interested in having Noam Chomsky on stream? It's always like, I would, I guess. I just don't know what we would talk about. Mike loses. Will you help whoever? Will you help get whoever wins elected? I haven't thought about that. I'm not sure. I don't know how that normally works. I don't know what like the etiquette is there. Realistically speaking, what are the odds of Mark winning? I have no idea. Local races are crazy, man. It's really hard to say. I have no idea. What is your personality type? I don't know. I don't put much stock in stuff like that.
Scott Bradley, $4.99. I thought you managed to get some decent conversation out of Rob in your last talk with him. I think he might be a free speech absolutist.
Yeah, the only problem is like if I have to try that hard.
Samba Taglieri, $4.99. What's your personality type? Ever taken the Myers-Briggs or Enneagram?
Yeah, I don't put much stock in stuff like that. Feels like it'd be a waste to not use the infrastructure you have by not continuing with a different dem. Well, I guess it'd be a matter of if they pay me or not. Because I don't know how enthusiastic I'm going to be. Like, my candidate doesn't make it through the primaries to, like, dump more funding into the general for another Democrat. I don't know. But again, I don't know what the etiquette is there, I guess. Yeah, not doing too well. I think he's fine. I think we turned in our signatures a couple days ago. The big problem with like local stuff is that it's always hard to know exactly where everybody stands because it's not like there's like millions of people trying to poll the citizens or anything, so it's hard to know at any point in time like who stands where. There is no like blueprints or anything in this game yet, right? Like there's no quicker way to do what I'm doing. Should I be moving to Austin with the recent developments? Maybe, I don't know. I don't feel too strongly about any particular place. Genuine question, why are COVID variants named by the media the Brazilian variant, British variant, and South African variant instead of their scientific name? Should there be consistency? Yeah, probably there should be.
Well then,
I feel like physical schools are much more important than I previously expected. I can normally handle having a few friends, but I felt like going to schools carried a fair bit of positivity. With the virus going on, the sense of community is shattered, and I mostly feel like my FAFSA is paying for my YouTube playlist of education. Yeah, shit sucks, bro. With self-defense manifesto in the future, I want to walk you through it. I believe I can change your opinion. Please give peace a chance. Fuck that, peace go. I'll try to do a more formal write-up, I guess, when I'm on the plane, since I'm not gonna have a battery. It's just so hard for me to ever imagine a world where I would accept people just like stealing people's shit. It's a tall order. These are made in 1 second. I'm not storing these gears anywhere. So nope, I'm not. Has there been any backlash from Vosh lately? I don't think so. I think when I get into a big issue, it tends to like ricochet around my community a lot longer than other communities. So I think it's normally like what happens is like I'll have a conversation on something, somebody else will want to come and talk about it, and then that kind of like keeps the cycle of whatever issue that is going on for quite a while. But I think most other people, like when a thing like this happens, they're usually like over it like pretty quickly. Because they're especially if they're doing like current events, because they just want to get on to the next like news item, right? How do you feel about leveraging your status to deplatform / boycott people like Demon Mom for political shows? I don't know. It feels a little shitty in some ways, but I don't think she's going to be on Prime K's show anymore. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, in some ways, I feel bad for her, but... in other ways, like, god damn, what a fucking piece of trash. I don't know. I think it's because your YouTube and Reddit are coming a couple days behind and they are as much as big as your stream. Yeah, maybe. Sorter doesn't pick up from the closest. That sorter doesn't pick up from the closest tower for the storage chest. Yeah, I didn't want it to, you dumb fuck. Stupid fuck, moron. That was the plan the whole fucking time, you fucking idiot. She acted so bad faith in the Riley debate, though. Yeah, it's just like... it's hard to say that. It's really, really, really hard to ascribe intent. It's such a hard thing to do.
What do you
but
think
it's also an
about
easy
Richard
thing to hide
Wolff?
behind, too. I don't know.
I figured he had to be smart, but every time I watch him debate, it's still emotional appeals. Watch IQ2 debates.
I don't have very much respect for Richard Wolff. I don't know. Don't really think about him much. What do I need for the green engines? Do you consider debating Richard Wolff? If I ever could get that debate, I think I would. I almost had it on that Modern Day Debate channel, but something came up or something with him, I guess. Did the fact that you considered you might have similar habits make you less okay with ascribing bad faith to her? I saw that part of the stream where you considered it. No, I fucked up in some of the things. I said that it sounded annoying. I didn't say it's like a bad faith thing or horrible thing, but I said it sounded annoying when she would constantly go, because it sounded really condescending when she did it. But then people took that as like every single time somebody says that it's bad or whatever. People like are memeing on me hard for it. I don't think I try not to.
Stay safe, buddy. Bonus meme. Imagine being a white name.
Thanks for your voice, buddy. I don't think I engage in the same types of behavior that Demon Mama does. At least I hope not.
Scott Bradley, $4.99. Demon Mama is dysfunctional and her fallout is just the natural consequence of her own actions.
Maybe. What do you think about people asking really abstract questions, really complicated political questions you know nothing about? It's usually just annoying. Why haven't you bought a motorcycle? Because I don't want to die, okay? DM quit her stream after she found out Riley was talking to you and hasn't streamed since? Good. I hope I'm the boogeyman to some of these motherfuckers. How do you take your coffee? I don't. Fuck coffee.
Zeke Salinas, $4.99. I'm in Texas and it has been crazy. Do you have any opinions on the Texas situation?
The cruise shit? Honest to God, I just don't really give a fuck. I just don't care. People, I don't know. U.S. senators can't do shit for their state anyway. It's not like it's his jobs to. I guess like people are saying optics, I guess, but it's only optics because Americans don't know how their political system works. Like Cruz is a federal senator. He can't do dick all to help Texas, except I guess rally people. I don't want to throw around the term like virtue signal, but like guaranteed all the people that are saying like Cruz needs to stay there to help Texas, like none of these people know like even who the governor of Texas is, right? Like let alone like any of the state legislature or anything like that. It's like I don't know, but whatever. Isn't it Greg Abbott? It sure is. I looked that up earlier today, so if I had to use that insult on somebody, I'd know who it was, because I sure as fuck didn't know who the fuck it was. Jeez. There's no way this is enough. This is so hacky. See, Don Jr. made a comment about Texas's Democratic governor, even though Abbott is a Republican? Who knows what Republican even means to these people anymore? It's hard to say. What?
Scott Bradley, $4.99. Sure, but how do you feel about Mouton abandoning his Dark Souls 2 run to go to Cancun with his dad?
You guys primed the fuck out of Mouton to hate that game. I blame you guys. Dark Souls 2 is a fine game. Are you doing a BlizzCon watch? I don't think so. I'm gonna be flying to Omaha tomorrow.
Taking shrooms for the first time tomorrow. Can I get some tips? Should I not eat anything?
I don't know. Eat something first, I guess. You absorb it slower. Probably makes the high last longer. Would you classify the Ted Cruz stuff as in the same level of misinformation? I don't, not really. It's just dumb. Most Americans don't know anything about how the political system works. To be fair, I was in that category like 2 years ago, so I don't blame people, I guess. And I'm still largely in that category today. American political system is, in some ways it's not that complicated, but in a lot of ways it's really complicated. I still don't know all the levels of government, right? I know there's federal, state, and city, but I don't know what the fuck a municipality is, or how districts or counties are governed, or like, I don't know, that shit is, there's like 52 different levels of government on like every fucking place you're at in America. What's your next composition challenge? I just don't have any ideas right now, unfortunately. I just can't think of anything. Ask yourself in response to getting muted for 10 seconds and leaving. Waste of time. Spent like 2 hours watching the debate, talking things through with Abby, and I set time to go help her out, and she mutes me. What the fuck? Talk about disrespecting your guests. Damn, dude. How presumptuous of somebody else's time. Holy shit. People are crazy.
Marcus Aurelius, 5 Swiss francs. Have you ever been to Switzerland?
Didn't you have like 5 potential clips? Oh, I guess I did actually. Oh, I should like workshop some of those. They're sitting here on my desktop too. I don't remember any of these ideas. So maybe if I revisit them. I don't know if any of these were good. She literally asked him to wait and he just wanted to request. How the fuck on, yeah. What is it? F to E. This is similar to another one I've already done before, isn't it? You joke, but politicians have done that. Didn't Cory Booker literally do that? It made him beloved. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Does anything else happen here? How many taps are LC? Should I take my second time? I don't know, start off with like 100, I'll go from there. Oh, maybe I'll listen through some of these. Yeah, maybe there's something here. I can workshop. 100 micrograms, sorry, not 100 tabs. Okay, gear wheels, iron. Edward said on a stream that he wants to collab with you again. Oh yeah, we should too. I think my apartment is really nice. I think shit looks good right now. I think it looks pretty nice. I got my couch back there. I got a nice speaker there. I got a huge place for him to play. My piano can be like hooked into that little like speaker over there and everything. Yeah, actually, I think we could. Oh, I should do that when I get back. He's pretty fun to play with too, I think. That sounded really gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I didn't mean it like that. I mean, he's fun to like play music with. Sorry, it's late, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have to backtrack and say that, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that. If I'm bisexual, right? I can just say that. That's okay, right? People should just assume automatically that. I am so curious. If I came out as non-binary, if I just said that, if I'm non-binary, do you think Demon Mama would respect my position? Since all you have to do is announce it in order to be it? Dun, 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 dun. I feel like I could be non-binary. I don't know. I don't really give a fuck much about my gender identity. I don't know if it's the same thing as being like non-binary. Probably not. Where is this? What am I pulling from right now? I think this is my iron, right? And you can call yourself as like non-binary, and then you can still say like I want to be non-binary, but use he/him pronouns. So I can be non-binary, bisexual. I feel like I'm getting a lot of points. I feel like we're raking them in right now. And I am Hispanic, technically. I am. Okay. Okay, this is a clusterfuck of shit to look at, okay? Being agender is a form of non-binary. Since you don't care about gender, you're probably technically a non-binary already. Maybe. Wait, what's supposed to go in here? Oh, these things. You forgot the most oppressed class while being a gamer. True. Wait, what did I pull that out of? That belt was iron, wasn't it? I know it was. Go on PKA again sometime after the Omaha election to talk about it. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Damn, dude, Kyle was on some weird shit last time. I could not tell if he was joking or not. Holy fuck. Isn't being a gender abolitionist mean you're non-binary, or is that different? No, they're technically different things. G'day, buddy. Thoughts on Facebook banning news in Australia? It seems like good catalyst for discussion about private corps and role disowning info. I have no idea. I've heard about it. I just haven't read anything about it. Okay, we got this. Probably need to pump in gears. I have two poor little factories spitting out gears here. There's no way that these two factories are gonna be enough. I can't believe it. Okay, I'm already making these things though. Well, wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, I just need to make gears. Lots of gears. Wait, okay, hold on. Can you link this song? Okay, every time I stream late at night and I turn my music volume up and you hear my music, people act like they've never heard any of these songs before. You ever notice that? How's your house looking in Nebraska? Does Rachel keep it up? Yep, her and her boyfriend do. My kid's mom's boyfriend.
Scott Bradley.
What, Scott Bradley?
$4.99. Did your mom ever cook any kind of traditional Cuban dishes for you growing up?
Traditional Cuban dishes, the only one I know is like black beans and rice. It seems to be like the foundation, and then like mixing in like chicken or other stuff. Okay, we can do like 8 of these, I guess, maybe? No way will that work, being fed off the same line, right? Oh, fried platas? Maybe? Is that plantains? I know that like roasted plantains or something plantains are. I think there's a special name for them in Cuban. I don't know. It might be platas. I'm not sure. Yes, I'm Cuban. That's my native tongue. You insensitive fucks. Looking back, do you think Whiplash still holds up? For whatever reason, it feels kind of worse now to me. I thought Whiplash was a really good movie. I would say that the only parts of Whiplash that feel the weakest to me are, I think that his relationship with the girl is, that dialogue I don't think is handled too well. But otherwise, I think it holds up well. I don't know. God damn, dude. I don't have room for fucking anything. Okay, that's that. Okay, hold on. Let's... Adam Neely's video affected my enjoyment of it. Okay, I don't actually agree with a lot of Adam Neely's criticisms. I think that he's maybe a little bit too New York, okay? I'd have to go back and listen to it. Or like, there were some things that were maybe kind of sort of true, but he was being really nitpicky. Like, I think in one of them, wasn't he like no conductor would ever call it a chart. They'd call it something else. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like I've heard that term, like, across the country in a few different, like, jazz groups. Like, I don't think it's, like, that hardcore. There were a couple things he was right on, though. Adam Neely is a really cool guy, though. Go back and listen to it now. Adam Neely... Whiplash? Have you ever tried playing the drums? Like a little bit, but...
So I know that this is coming like 4 years too late, but until recently, I was a jazz musician before the band. Anyway, nobody would know that Miles Teller is moving his hands a certain ways. This includes the lower tier right. So there's a degree of verisimilitude here because of the people working on this project. Miles Teller, in fact, is actually a pretty competent drummer. The script is somewhat autobiographical. Writer-director Damien Chazelle played drums in a competitive high school jazz ensemble with a very strict band director, so the script gets some oddly specific things right, like the link...
Hold on.
Can you explain Voss's argument in practical terms? Person A can enter capital market morally neutral because person B could replace them. How can person B replace them? Does person A's capital disappear?
I don't know. Good question, my dude. But no, I don't know. I don't want to go into that right now, okay?
Lingo that some band directors use. This includes the lower tiers band director saying, put some sugar on that as he's rehearsing the reeds.
Bottom, yeah. Put some sugar on it.
Meaning that he wants some more swagger in the articulation. Or Fletcher saying 2 bars for free.
2 bars for free.
Meaning that he'll count off 2 measures before the band's entrance. These sorts of things can only come from playing in a jazz band. Even little things like the way that Fletcher refers to trombones as bones in a staccato inflection.
Bones.
That certainly sounds right to me. Other little things like Fletcher getting really upset at people leaving their folders around.
If I ever find one of these lying around again, I swear to God, I will stop being so polite.
Is a very real thing. This will send all band directors into a fit of rage because sheet music is expensive and nobody wants to pay for students' carelessness. The building of the fictional Schaefer Conservatory looks old and crummy. They certainly nailed the look. That's how my alma mater, Manhattan School of Music, kind of looks. The scene where Andrew's extended family doesn't really get Andrew's obsession for music as well as his accomplishments definitely rings true for a lot of musicians. I actually felt that that scene was the most emotionally accurate portrayal of anything in the entire film. Fletcher has a certain way of sauntering in front of the band, which actually reminds me a lot of my band directors in college. The general posture of J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller more or less looks right.
The way they have their shoulders, they're like there is kind of like a slant. You know, it's a certain posture and a certain way they kind of sit over the kit.
I could sit here all day and nitpick all of the times that Miles Teller is moving his hands a certain way and what we're seeing is not what we're hearing, but honestly, it's not that important, and they got it more or less right. Because the entire band is made up of professional musicians, and they're miming too, but at least they're holding their instruments correctly and more or less fingering what we're hearing. That is, everybody in the band except for the people with speaking roles, and I think I know why that might be. Because in order to have a speaking role in a Hollywood movie, you need to be a member of the Screen Actors Guild, and it's going to be the actors, not the musicians, who actually bother getting a union card. So if the people in the movie have lines...
What are you doing?
Chances are they're not going to look like they're playing their instrument for real. Oh, that's unfortunate. But anyway, that's not super important. It doesn't affect how the world of jazz is portrayed, and there's still other really oddly specific details that the movie got right, like handwriting in the various subdivisions of 7/4 on the drum chart for the titular piece, Whiplash. Whiplash, written by Hank Levy for the Don Ellis Orchestra, is in 7/4, 7 beats per measure, but at a certain point, it's felt in shifting subdivisions of 2 and 3/8 notes that don't really repeat. The feel of 7/4 changes rapidly, so the extra markings are important in understanding how to play it. Fun aside, I recently discovered the shorthand that some drummers use for groupings of 2 and 3/8 notes. They represent groupings of 2/8 notes as a line and 3/8 notes as a triangle. This has nothing to do with the movie Whiplash. I just thought that was interesting. Anyway, nobody would know this fine detail of musicianship unless you actually had to play the piece of music, like writer-director Damien Chazelle did when he was in high school.
Some of the pieces of the music in the movie were pieces that I played myself as a drummer, Whiplash, Caravan, so those were kind of starting points in a way.
What starts to take me out of the movie, though, are the little details that the movie just kind of gets wrong. Part 2, what the movie got mildly wrong. The whole movie feels like Damien Chazelle is remembering the general gist of jazz culture, but only through the haze of the memory of his experiences in high school. Like, for example, this guy. This guy does not look like a jazz musician. He looks like a high school jock. There is this guy, however. He does look like a jazz musician. He's decked out in jazz normcore attire, but he's wearing a bass backpack case. In New York City, nobody wears those. Everybody uses wheels because they're a lot easier to navigate the New York City subway as well as the tight quarters of buildings. And there's also the odd use of lingo, which feels off somehow, like it's been translated in Google like one too many times. For example, when Fletcher invites Andrew to play at JVC, Fletcher assures him that they'll be playing songs that Andrew knows from the, quote, studio band playlist.
Using the studio band playlist.
Any musician would call this the studio band set list. Playlists are for Spotify. When the drum folder gets misplaced, Tanner says, I don't know the charts by heart.
Don't know the charts by heart.
You know Whiplash by heart.
He wouldn't say that. He would say, I don't have the charts memorized. During
That's kind of weird. I don't know by heart. I don't have it memorized. That seems a little nitpicky, but...
Fletcher's first abusive tirade towards Andrew, he demands that Andrew count me at 2.
To copy recipe to paste into replicator. Unban locks.
Are you banned?
15, as in count at 215 beats per minute.
Count me at 215.
That doesn't really happen or make sense. Steady timekeeping is much more valued, as in the ability to follow a count off and keep the tempo steady throughout an entire piece of music. And funnily enough, when Andrew counts, it's actually fairly close to 215 beats per minute.
Count me at 215.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Jesus.
My friend
Fletcher
Saro
then says,
admits to reading mangas all the time and has an anime PFP. Is he a weeb?
Probably.
To understand that you cannot read tempo?
Any trained musician who's asked to do that, count off a specific BPM marking without a reference or without a count off, will just ballpark it, because honestly, it's just not that important of a skill to have. Fletcher then talks a little bit too literally about quarter note equals 330 and says,
That is a double time swing.
that, I don't know, technically makes sense because double time swing sometimes is used as a shorthand for fast swing feel, although technically that's not really what it means.
Double time swing.
It's J.K. Simmons' delivery of the line,
It is double time swing. Here, a little double time swing. No, double time.
as well as the insistent use of that phrase throughout the entire movie, which feels kind of off. Then when Fletcher is menacing the band, he keeps referencing a, quote, out-of-tune player.
An out of tune player here.
The phrase would be probably somebody is playing out of tune. Then
Like, that's like a really, really weird... Okay, there's an out-of-tune player. Somebody's playing out of tune. That feels like a weird... And it almost feels in some of these where it's like, he's probably saying out-of-tune player because it's more demeaning to say that there is an out-of-tune player than somebody's playing out of tune as well. But
of course, there's this chestnut.
Hey, Dad, look at my paradiddle.
oh, I don't think this is a paradiddle.
And then the kid doesn't play the rudiment of a paradiddle.
Dumbass kid.
Of course, that is also because kids are kind of stupid, but, you know, there is that. But personally, the most jarring of all these little minor grievances is when Fletcher reminds the brass to, quote, sharp the ninth.
Brass, do not forget we sharp that ninth.
Which makes no sense. You would say that to a chord player, like a guitarist or a pianist who consistently forgets to voice the 9 as a sharp 9 on, say, a dominant 7th chord. You wouldn't say that to an entire section. If you want to remind one person to change the note from, say, a D natural concert on a C7 to a D sharp, you'd single out that particular player. And for a character like Terrence Fletcher, singling out a particular player for humiliation seems like it's part of his character.
This is like, I'm going to nitpick the nitpick here. It is entirely possible that, and it's not the least common thing in the world, that sometimes sheet music is printed incorrectly in a, sometimes sheet music is printed incorrectly when you order it. And sometimes what happens is there won't be like an accidental on sheet music, and you have to remember, or you've got to remind people like, hey, like mark this on your pad, like remember that like you guys have the 9th in that measure, sharp that. That's supposed to be sharp because the sheet music is fucked up. I'm not saying that's what happened here. It's probably more likely that it was just a dumb comment that doesn't make sense, but that is possible. Anybody that's ever bought sheet music for school knows that like people will fuck up sheet music, but I don't know if that's what he was trying to reference or not by having Fletcher say that. Otherwise, it's true. It's weird to tell a horn player to do that, but like I've heard that plenty of times. Remember and measure 47, like that G is sharp, right? It's not, but it's stuff like that, yeah. But I don't know.
So why they didn't do that and just said brass sharp the 9th. Anyway, all of these moments have the cumulative effect of, say, an American actor speaking in kind of a bad British accent.
Far from my heart that burns with passion.
They're all kind of unintentionally funny. It's made more frustrating by the fact that the movie got a lot of things almost right. Part 3, what the movie got, like, almost Right. Okay, so there are little things which are technically true, but a little strange, especially considering that I think they were added just to make it feel more realistic. Like, for example, Tanner telling Andrew to tune the drum set to B flat.
Tune the set to B flat.
This is a super old school technique that was only really used when bands were playing in very horn-friendly keys like B flat, but for the more modern repertoire, like
it gonna be B or E?
Whiplash, for example, the practical effect of tuning the resonant elements of a drum set to a particular key is minimal, if not useless.
Excuse me, can I get a B flat?
Fletcher then claps in fast tempo.
Wait, don't. I would defer to him 1,000,000% before that. But my understanding is you'd still tune the kit, wouldn't you? Nobody wants an out of tune drum set, right? Can't you hear it? If you were to hit a tom or hit a snare and it was out of tune, wouldn't you hear that weird like dong? Like, don't you hear like weird shit if they're not in tune? Tune it, but not to a specific key. I guess you could just tune it to itself and it's whatever. But maybe, I don't know.
Bows on beats 1 and 3.
Double time swing. Faster!
This is actually not quite as cringy as it might seem, even though it's fairly cringy to clap on 1 and 3, because jazz big band conductors will conduct fast tempos on beats 1 and 3, as in 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Except when you're counting off something, you're going to snap on beats 2 and 4, as in 2, 2, 3, 4. It'll also pronounce the word 1 as un. Fun fact. And then, it's not really wrong, but there's the issue of how Fletcher counts off the tune Whiplash.
5, 6, and.
Even if Damien Chazelle thinks this is right, this sounds kind of wrong to me, admittedly for some fairly subtle reasons. You see, dancers think in 8 counts, so choreographers starting routines will start on 5, as in 5, 6, 7, 8, whereas musicians starting in 4/4 will always start in 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So any musician who has ever worked with a dancer hearing a 5 at the beginning of a count-off will immediately cringe.
5, 6, 7.
But Whiplash is not in 4/4. It's in 7/4. There are 7 beats to the measure, so if you're going to start the count off on beat 1, it would take forever to get to the point where you're
Anyone else
supposed to start
cringing
playing.
right now?
So Fletcher starts counting on 5 and counts the final 3 beats of a measure of 7/4 as the count off.
5, 6, and. 5, 6, and.
Chazelle probably remembered his old band director doing it this way, so he had Fletcher start the count off on 5, the thing that makes my skin kind of crawl.
5, 6, and.
The thing is that's a fairly old school way of counting off odd time signatures, and it's not really used that much anymore.
5, 6, and.
The problem is that this method sometimes leads to some confusion,
Wait for my cue.
especially in a chart like Whiplash, where the 7/4 is subdivided in
Dumbass.
different places in the chart. So with some exceptions, modern practice suggests that you count off everything in 4/4, no matter the time signature, just to avoid that kind of confusion. That confusion actually exists in the movie during the abusive rushing, dragging scene, where Andrew gets confused and is counting in 7 briefly, but Fletcher then insists that he counts in 4.
Start counting.
5, 6, 7.
In 4, damn it! Look at me!
Anyway, none of this so far, none of it really affects anything. It doesn't affect the plot in any sort of meaningful way. It's all just kind of been, like astrophysicists complaining about Interstellar or whatever. Most of us.
Oh, so
really
he
just
thinks
don't
he's as smart as an
care. We just
astrophysicist
wanna enjoy the
because he
movie
does
on its own
because he does
storytelling
music.
merit. I apologize for what has effectively been the jazz equivalent of Neil deGrasse Tyson complaining about every science fiction movie ever. So let's move beyond the surface level. Let's talk about the character of Terrence Fletcher. Are the tough love elements in Terrence Fletcher's teaching really there in modern jazz conservatories? Part 4, Terrence Fletcher. Terrence Fletcher is a professor who teaches at a prestigious New York City jazz school. So I talked to a professor who teaches at a prestigious New York City jazz school, my good friend Josh Bailey, who teaches at NYU Steinhardt, and asked him what would happen if somebody like Terrence Fletcher actually taught young students today.
They're freshmen and confused and torn in 1,000 different directions. So if I were to whiplash them, because that's a verb now, you can whiplash. If I were to whiplash them, then they would be like, well, I'm going to not do this as my major and just switch to poli-sci because I can. I've sort of learned that, at least with this generation, or maybe the last 2 or 3 years of students, to have a tough love mentality, but from a removed perspective, and I don't actually implement it upon them. I'll tell them my tough love stories that I had, so that way they can avoid it.
Terrence Fletcher is a useful storytelling trope. The abusive mentor who will stop at absolutely nothing from drawing greatness from his students.
I will never apologize for how I tried.
Fletcher's justification of his negative reinforcement comes from a story that he likes to tell of an incident that happened at the Reno Club in Kansas City when Charlie Parker sat in on a jam session and played quite poorly. House drummer Joe Jones was not impressed with Charlie Parker's playing, and so he threw a cymbal, according to the movie, at Charlie Parker, nearly decapitating him, which inspired Charlie Parker to go home and practice and become one of the greats. Now, this story, as it's told by the movie, is very much embellished. Joe Jones just kind of dropped the cymbal on the ground as kind of like a gong, vibing Charlie Parker, telling him that he was no good for the session and he should come back later when he was ready.
I told you that story about how Charlie Parker became Charlie Parker, right?
Joe Jones threw a cymbal at his head.
This mischaracterization of the incident is kind of like the character of Fletcher himself. Maybe based on a real thing, but amped up to this grotesque level for the purpose of storytelling.
It's a tough world, and there are a lot of guys out there that are not unlike Terrence Fletcher.
Professors who do some of the things that Fletcher does do exist. I mean, maybe not the level of abuse, but things like the casual misogyny.
Well, you're in the first chair. Let's see if it's just because you're cute.
The homophobic insults.
This is not Bette Midler concerts. We will not be serving cosmopolitans in baked Alaska, so just play faster than you give hand jobs, will you please?
Singling out players for unnecessary levels of humiliation. Yeah, those things do unfortunately happen, especially from professors cut from the cloth of the, quote, old school. Fletcher's obsession with the story of Charlie Parker does also kind of ring true, because older professors ensconced in the ivory tower often don't know of any jazz past 1960. Chances are Damien Chazelle isn't hip to these musicians either, but the characterization of the older musician who doesn't know anything about anything new is accurate, so there's that. Chazelle probably has no idea who young musicians might idolize. Yeah, Charlie Parker is deeply respected, but there is kind of the elephant in the room when it comes to talking about the movie Whiplash and young musicians' fixations on particular musicians. And that elephant is Part 5, Buddy Rich. The movie's choice to have Andrew obsess over Buddy Rich is, I guess, narratively a good one. Buddy Rich was a jazz big band drummer that to this day is a household name because of his flashy chops. He also was a band leader cut from a very similar cloth as Terrence Fletcher.
Well, you just gotta listen to the greats then. Buddy Rich.
Buddy demanded perfection from his band and would get angry and abusive if he felt like the band was not stepping up. There are an infamous series of recordings known as the bus tapes of Buddy Rich excoriating his band that sound quite similar to Terrence Fletcher's tirades.
If I hear one clam from anybody, you've had it. One clam and this whole band is through tonight. Try me.
When I was at Berkeley in Boston, I studied jazz composition underneath the great Greg Hopkins, who played trumpet and arranged for Buddy Rich's band for several years.
This is Greg Hopkins from a recent appearance on the cross.
Greg had a ton of respect for Buddy Rich, but admitted that he could be a bit of a monster sometimes, somebody to be feared on the bandstand as much as respected. So for Andrew to obsess over Buddy Rich, that just makes perfect movie sense. By seeking to emulate Buddy Rich, Andrew seeks to curry favor with the other tyrannical band leader, Terrence Fletcher.
Greg Hopkins.
That just kind of makes sense from a storytelling perspective, but from the perspective of a young jazz musician studying jazz in New York City in the modern era, the idolization of Buddy Rich just makes absolutely no sense. Buddy Rich became a household name largely because of his association with show business. He was a frequent guest on Johnny Carson, so the general public is likely to know who he is. But as far as musicians go, his influence on modern jazz is quite minimal.
What are some drummers that a lot of students are checking out?
Nate Smith.
Okay, we're good. Okay, I guess some of the stuff is kind of nitpicky, but I don't necessarily disagree with. Have you ever talked with Adam Neely? No, but apparently he streams on Twitch now, so someday we'll talk to him. Maybe, probably, hopefully. Not if it's anything like Melonhead? Oh yeah, true.
Adam Murray, $5. Did any of your directors throw instruments and chairs at students, or was that just me?
No, but but pencils, yes. If you made the same mistake multiple times in a row, our band director would, like, in the middle of rehearsal while conducting, would grab. He would always have a box of pencils next to him, and he would take the pencil and he'd throw it. He'd say, "Mark it, mark it, mark it, mark it, so you don't miss it again." But throwing instruments, I don't think you'd ever throw an instrument. That's expensive shit, my dude.
Have you listened to Chicoria? R.I.P.
Chicoria is my favorite anime. No. Chicoria? I think I must have, right? Damn, I'm dying on iron. Wait, hold on. Oh. What bitrate do you stream at YouTube and Twitch? I think like 6 megabits per second. Do you agree that the leveled conveyor belts seem to trivialize the game a bit? Honestly, the 3 dimensions totally trivialize a lot of the game, but I haven't gotten into any of the interplanetary stuff, not that much, so maybe that adds a new dimension or whatever to it. But like, this is just like a thing I'm doing to pass time, I think. Although I guess I shouldn't be doing it all. I should just be playing Cyberpunk. God damn, dude. Cyberpunk had a lot of potential. Oh no. Does Destiny play jazz? I mean, I had to for jazz band, right? I could swing 8th notes. That's what you want to know. You think you're going to have the same take as Donkey? The best parts of the game were how crazy some of the bugs are? No, that sounds kind of dumb. I don't think so. How did the Cyberpunk hype even start? Was it just thanks to Keanu Reeves? Well, one, Cyberpunk is kind of like an older franchise that I think a lot of people remember as being cool, or at least they've heard it's cool, because it was. But it's mainly because CD Projekt Red was the team behind it, and they did The Witcher 3. Well, all of the Witcher games, actually. Well, Witcher 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if there are more, but... And The Witcher 3 was probably one of the best games of all time. For open world stuff, at least. So people were like super hyped on that. Wait, is Riley's community like actually fucked? Somebody said her community fell apart in one night. Is it? Do you think it's actually that bad, or?
Bryson Bernard, $4.99. I love you, buddy. BTW. What's this game called?
Dyson Sphere program. Okay, let's make Splitter and see what it actually does. I don't know if I've ever used it.
I've been using ad blocker for the past 2 years and no longer want to be a free rider. You paid for my hotel room in Georgia though, so I'm still indebted.
Did Destiny implement his site himself? No. I'm flattered that you think I'd have the technical know-how to do so, though. Okay, how do splitters work? Let's find out. Does it need power? No. Oh my god, he's just telling me. It can split the passenger or balance the cargo on multiple conveyor belts. Alright, cool. Oh, input priority. Oh, so this has priority. Oh, that's sick. Holy shit, these are actually so fucking... These are so good. Oh my god, I've been using fucking dumb shit this entire game to do this. I thought of going back to college. It would be cool, but I just don't think I'll have the time. Press tab when placing the splitter? Maybe someday I will, okay. Not getting the iron we need. Okay, we're just gonna make another one. All right. Wait, what is this shit? Oh, it can like deal like upper level shit? I see. Huh, okay. This one gets priority. Cool. Do you and Melina have any current plans for how long she'll be in Europe for? Probably like 4 to 6 weeks, would be my guess. So if anybody's bored in LA, hit me up. Kappa. Turn your head. What? What? All-time favorite bands? Well, I like your mom. I like your... Yeah, I don't know, dude. Hit R when placing an L-shaped belt and we'll switch to the other L that can be placed. Wait, what? Oh my god. Whoa, you guys know so much shit about this. Cool building survival gonna play. Oh, is it the one? Iman suggested one of these. Amuna or Little E Fox said that this game was sick, and apparently some people started playing it after Cyberpunk. Don't you have any musicians that inspired you to pick music in college at all? No, I just like the Cowboy Bebop OST, to be honest. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, this is... Okay, wait, so help me here. Is there a faster way to get stuff out of the... Oh, no. I'm just not making enough iron. There's no way that I'm gonna ever be making enough iron to keep up with this. I don't think. Why the fuck did you play sax if you don't like jazz? I feel like the saxophone is just the best. I'm sorry, but it's just the best woodwind. It just is. I think the saxophone can be used for a lot more than just jazz. I think it's got like a super fucking, like a very, very, very rich sound. Thoughts on the bone farmer dying? I don't know what the bone farmer is. Is this a meme I'm supposed to know about? Or? Do you guys remember the jumping kid from BlizzCon like 20 years ago? I know that guy. Have you listened to Bjork? What on earth is that? Ready for StarCraft 3 tomorrow? Guys, StarCraft 3, if it gets announced, it'll be like at least 3 or 4 years from now. Any guilty pleasure things you like from music that's normally frowned upon as meme shit? What do you mean? Like the entire fucking lo-fi thing is all meme shit. But I love all that.
You gnome fuck!
Playlist name plus him trying to jam out.
It's literally my fucking playlist. What are you asking? What are you saying? Okay, I need to make more iron. This doesn't work. Any interest in getting the GTA RP stuff? Fuck no. That shit is a snooze fest. Okay. Rank the 3 programmed musics. Oh, like in order of best to worst? It would be probably 132 is almost inarguable. But maybe, I could see maybe it being 312. But 132, most likely. But maybe 312. Are you holding Bitcoin still? Nope, I sold at 11k. Talking about Dark Souls? No, the program music's from Kashiwa Daisuke. Okay, maybe my iron will be good once this shit gets full. Are you still holding GME? Good one. I lost like millions on GME. That's why I was so mad about it, remember? Oh, thank God. Okay. Here to the next greatest big league stock called PLTR. Well, is the short interest above 50% on it? Honestly, short interest in like I think any short interest in the double digits is actually considered like pretty high, I think. Okay, I'm not making the green shit. Why? Because I'm not making the pink shit. Okay, why? Let's check. We're not making the pink shit because we're not getting the green engine shit. But we're getting the green engine shit. There it is. Internet is trying. Isn't this like a 30-minute video? I have like a. Come on. This is the last time I'm spending with you guys before I'm leaving, okay? You want me to spend it watching like a 46 fucking minute video? Did you guys see the show I was on with the Joe? I don't remember her fucking name. Was it Joanne, the psychologist person? I'm curious what the rest of like academic people are like outside of like Twitter and YouTube. Something that was like that I was like very interested about is supposedly like her area of study was something feminist gender shit, and then a PhD in like psychology or something. That sounded really dismissive of her academic shit. I didn't mean to sound that way, but it seemed like she was like very willing to admit that there like a lot of stuff was two-sided, which was surprising to me. I wonder if a lot of academic people are like that. It's very annoying to me sometimes when people won't admit that there's like kind of like faults to go around, or there's like multiple ways to approach things. I'm being very vague right now. I think we were talking about like it had to do with the roles of like genders when it came to like dating and sex or whatever. I remember that on Sean Carroll's podcast, there was a lady that talked about like not wanting to be part of the intellectual dark web. And I remember that she said that like academics disagree and fight with each other all the time. So the concept of the intellectual dark web was just really funny to her. And now I'm really curious, and like I'm curious how far the academic world is removed from like the Twitter academic world. Why don't you just DM Sean and ask? Oh, I don't know. Fuck. I feel bad because I don't think last time I had a super set topic to talk to him about. And now I think he might be a lot bigger, so I don't know if he'd accept. I don't know. I just don't know if I have anything to talk to him about right now. Maybe I could think of something. I'm not sure. But I think he's becoming a bigger guy, right?
Listen to Sons of Kemet on the plane, Abatha.
Okay.
Also fix your last FM shit so you don't have people asking what every song is.
That's what your mom wanted me to do, though. Oh my god, okay. I'm so close to having this fucking science automated. This is my fucking life's achievement right here. The name of the woman on Prime's platform is the Silly Serious Online. Oh yeah, that one. Damn, what'd you guys do to... Why did Hassan mauled out of his stream today? He got so mad, holy shit. Destiny, last message, what? You said this before. How many said this before politics? If you're not able to strongman your opposition's argument, you don't understand it well enough to critique it. Wait, what is that about? Or wait, what was that in reference to? Yes, there we go. Hell to the fuck yes. Okay. We're making these guys. Okay, we just need to plug it in over here. We can do this. Somebody told me that I'm just like a loser and I'm not hip to like what's going on in Japan's rap shit right now or whatever, but dude, the rapping part of this is just so doesn't do it for me at all. Oh my god. I'm sorry.
You're the only other Milo rapper listener that I know, so you have my respect for that. Keep up the good work.
Milo seems cool as fuck. But he also seems like he could also be like a very Because I feel like liking Milo could get you called as like a pretentious rap liker or whatever. Maybe? I don't know. It seems like the kind of... Okay. Where is it? I feel like my biggest problem with Program Music 3 is the stuff that follows that midsection. I don't feel like any of it is as strong. Like, this section is okay, but then everything after this is just like, eh. Okay, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Look, 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 look. There it goes, the green shit. Oh, let's make things here. Hold on.
Thanks for providing low-effort entertainment for me while I work my third shift IT job. BTW, your hair is cute, ye neither loose.
Thanks. Boom. Boom. Jesus. Okay. Oh no. Can we ramp enough? Do you think these kinds of games have any in real life application? Unironically, probably programming. But other than that, probably not. Check on Levirdix's link. Holy fuck. What? What? You... Okay. The green science. The final of all sciences. Okay.
Hey, how's it going?
Who is this? Lego Head. Oh, what's up? Dylan!
The only one and only Lego Head.
The one and only.
You know, you want to know about that fucking insult? When I heard it, it really hurt because it was so fucking true. That it hurt. It really hit the.
Your head is made out of Legos?
It's so fucking square though.
Oh, who cares?
It's
Fuck
a
it,
legitimate
dude.
Lego block.
It's like a defining trait. You're like unique.
It's true.
You know what the you know how you can tell if a cartoon is good or not?
How's that?
It's if you can tell who the characters are just by the silhouettes.
Ooh. Wow. You sure are smart, Destiny. That's why so many people watch you.
Thanks. Thank you. Well, what's up? How you doing?
So, I was doing call-ins on Wednesday, and something peculiar happened. And they said that you had a talk with Vosh, right?
Yeah,
and
I sure did. We had a...
It was something about line, and I don't really care to watch it, right?
Okay, you're not missing
but
much.
It's for legitimate reason. But I had like 3 hours of callers who were making the argument to me, and I don't know how this has to connect to this. That lying is a legitimate thing that the left should do. for narrative reasons and to win the fight. And that if we lie and do stuff like Rush Limbaugh, then we can use that to do good. And even though lying is bad, it's for a good cause. And I'm just standing there, knowing the type of stuff Rush Limbaugh caused, knowing what lying can do, just baffled that I did 3 hours of callers who were telling me we should lie.
Well, it's a crazy world we live in, huh?
Well, I'm just here to ask you, what the fuck? Why is this going on? I thought the point was we're the left and we do what we do because we don't like to lie.
Okay, this is partially my fault, but it basically, I think this idea basically comes from a very narrow understanding of consequentialism, or more specifically, I guess, utilitarianism. Have you ever heard the phrase, the ends justify the means?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, okay. So one of the problems with the ends justifying the means is that oftentimes people don't always consider what the ends are, because they have a very narrow understanding of what the means were. So as an example, I give the same example every time. My audience has heard this a million times, so bear with me. As an example, let's say that I want to kill one person to save two people, and I'm going to say that that's moral, because I'm saving more people than I'm killing, right? On its face, that looks good, right? The ends justify the means. But the problem is, you sneak something into the end there, and the end is that it's okay to kill somebody if you can save two people by killing one person. That's always going to be okay. You bring that along with you to the end. And the problem is that if we were to construct a society like that, with those ends in mind, everything would become chaotic, right? Nobody would trust anybody. People would be murdering people for organs, et cetera, et cetera. Everything would just be complete chaos.
I could kill like some rich person, like in I don't know, Bangkok or whatever.
Or you could kill a poor person and take their organs and save people, right?
True. Or kill like one person with let's say I make $30,000 a year. I kill them, take all their savings, and give it to a bunch of people in Central Africa that probably saved 10 lives from disease or something.
Sure, yeah, you can construct a million things like that, yeah. So I think that whole lying is good to help our side it's just a very narrow understanding of consequentialism. Because on one end, it's well, as long as something good happens, is it really that bad? It's well, in one situation, maybe not. But if we were to do it over and over and over and over again, or if we were to say it's okay to do it, then you've kind of made lying permissible, and that causes a whole bunch of stuff to break down. To be as fair as I can be, after having my conversation with Vosh and him getting a lot of blowback for that kind of take, apparently he's walked that back now, so he doesn't believe in it anymore, even though I'm pretty sure he believed in it before. But
do you think there's any legitimacy to the idea of now? You're not going to hear from me that Rush Limbaugh was a good person. I just did a giant thread about all the bad stuff he did, and I know you have no love for Rush Limbaugh. But do you think there's any legitimacy to the idea of you making shocking and sometimes maybe revolting statements to get attention to you, and then when everybody is looking at you because you just said something stupid, you use that attention to try to bring them over to your side, right? The example that was made to me by 3 different callers was Hassan's comments about 9/11, and the idea was that was bad, but maybe then all those people re-examined 9/11 or then watched the rest of Hassan's content from that, and therefore brought them over to the left, yada yada yada.
You can't really say that. That's another very ends just. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to say that some things are immoral as long as we're serving some greater end, because you really got to be careful what you run to with those arguments, because so much bad shit can be justified at that point, right? What the fuck? Oh, sorry. Have you listened to Dave Chappelle's it was called 834. It was however long.
No,
George
he's
Floyd
evil now or something, right?
Wait, is he what? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't he make a trans joke or something?
Fuck, that's old. You're older. All right, fuck. I was gonna say Chappelle made a joke. Actually, it wasn't even part of that skit. It was in part of another skit. But Chappelle made a joke that it was really good that some little boy got killed by the cops, and not a joke, but a longer thing. And his overall statement was that that kid getting killed kind of catalyzed a movement that was really positive for civil rights, basically. And so he kind of brings up basically this kind of topic, right? Maybe this is okay if there's some greater end being served. Emmett Till was the child's name.
Yeah, Emmett Till. He's the person who has their grave used for target practice by white supremacists, right?
Jesus, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But that kind of stuff is Yeah, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with that. Yeah, I'm just not comfortable with that.
Well, here's another thing that isn't talked about, right? Like, this is the same problem I have with revolutionary ideas, is being, like, after looking at the Syrian civil war, right? And what happened there, and the incredible amount of people who've died, and it's and like what happened to the Kurds and the SDF, some that like affected me a lot emotionally, and seeing that, and then seeing people like so like ready to like, yeah, let's do it, let's throw down, knowing that, let's say that if you were to win your revolution, let's completely go through the mental math and just say it would be better, it would be a better world if they would do it. What if you just fail?
Well, that's the thing too. Revolutions like guarantee regime change, but not to your regime, right? Like assuming you overthrow the government, like you have no guarantee that the good guys are going to be the ones in government next, right? Who the fuck knows?
And that's assuming you win, right? Because if you look at Syria, right, like it maybe you could make the say that if the SDF get decent negotiating power, then they can negotiate maybe like a Kurdistan in Iraq situation where they have a regional government, but the odds of that have decreased with Trump's backstabbing, obviously, which is why it's one of the worst things he did in office. But for the vast majority of Syrians, the revolution is dead. Assad won. So,
and a lot of those homes are totally fucking destroyed.
All those homes, all those people who can never return home, all the people who outed themselves as anti-Assad are now going to forever have that mark on them. The people who were had barrel bombs dropped on them, the people who were shot and killed, the protesters who were originally shot and killed, did they die in vain? And now the lasting remnants of the FSA are now backed by Turkey, whose militias are pulling politicians out of cars and executing them. So you look at that situation, you say, yeah, Assad was bad, and Assad's terrible, but holy fucking shit, this is awful.
Yeah, I don't think I think a lot of people just don't realize how fucked things can be. It's really
and that's
funny.
not me to downplay what Assad was. Like,
yeah,
Assad's a monster, and I support, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Any opposition to him. I'm just saying the situation right now is terrible.
I think a lot of people, especially Americans, I'd say a lot of people, especially a lot of people in the Western world, just don't really know how fucked things can get. Like, for instance, I don't know if you saw things. I don't know if you saw that picture that's going around that compares like these are American shelves after one little snowstorm and compared to Venezuela guys. Have you seen pictures like that?
Yeah, that stuff pisses me off.
Yeah, like they're like I had a guy that showed up on my stream to talk to his son about the Venezuela stuff, and this kid was like crying because his entire family's life savings was destroyed when their economy collapsed.
I watched that video. That video was hard to watch.
And this is just one straight of many. And there are stories of like Venezuelans having to eat like fucking rats and shit on the street because this country was destroyed. And you know, like lefty, I don't want to say just lefties, but that's what I'm talking about right now, I guess. We'll make the joke that like, oh, well, look, in America, you know, sometimes our stores run out of supplies during literally the biggest like pandemic that's happened in the past like fucking, you know, however many years. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, this is your go-to comparison is that America in like the worst days of its existence are like, you know, the average days during countries like going through months of turmoil. Like, I don't know if this is what your winning argument, Chief.
The thing that really gets me about this too is when we talk about this, it isn't lefties in this country who have the mass conservative guns. It's not lefties in this country who have been prepping for the last few decades for that dream scenario, quote unquote. It's doomsday preppers, white nationalists, groups like fucking Adam Often's a bad example, but groups like that, right? These crazy far right militia groups, which are absolutely terrifying. And of course, if at the end of the day, I don't know, like the worst comes to, it's not like we don't defend ourselves, but this is something that should be avoided at all costs. And I don't know, some of it just really angers me, but a lot of it's also because it's not like any of this I see in the real world, right?
Yeah, man, I hope so. I don't know, dude. I said that a lot, but now I'm kind of wondering how much of it is seeping into the real world. I have a friend that, like, I slowly watched her. I bragged about this girl a long time ago because she's, like, past the bar. She's a lawyer and everything. And she was, like, one of my, like, real-life friends. And it was like, dude, when I would talk to her about, like, tankies and shit, she'd be like, these people are crazy. But, like, I've been watching her I've been watching her Instagram feed over the past, like, several months. And, like, very slowly, she's been posting more kind of crazy shit. She's posting, like, a ton of tweets from that. Do you know Sean King?
Yeah, Sean King is I don't know what to call him, besides
all I know is I see a lot of really crazy fucking lefty tweets from that guy pop up, like just some pretty great, like she's been like starting to post more and more shit like that, and then like I remember like we went out to lunch and I just had conversations with her where like her politics are getting like more and more crazy, and it's just like fuck, like no way, it can't be happening.
I guess the thing is, I think there's a general partisan increase in the United States, and I don't know what exact. I mean, I've talked to there's a lot of man, I could talk about this for hours. But there's a few examples I could point to. I think I've already told you about the time that I think I lost a job opportunity because I was critical of some of China's actions in Africa.
Jeez, okay.
There's somebody who used to work for me who cites, and I don't know if you're familiar with the name Ben Norton, with the organization Gray Zone.
Nope.
They works with a guy known as Max Blumenthal and Glenn Greenwald. Are you familiar
I know
with
Greenwald, yes.
Well, basically, let me put it this way: if you looked at these three people, Glenn Greenwald is the person you'd want to hug.
Okay.
Gray Zone is basically like, these Uyghurs, like, let's really get into it, right? Or
Sure.
This Assad stuff, let's really get into these gas attacks,
Mhm.
right? That's the type of stuff they push. Gray Zone is a really just. Let me put it this way: they basically find and okay. Let me put it this way: Ben Norton went to Venezuela, went to a Venezuelan luxury mall where there was luxury watches, videotaped in there where rich people in Venezuela were still shopping fine, and said, "Look, what's the problem?" And then he showed footage of a marketplace, which it was like, "Hey, see, this apple is like $2," not knowing that $2 American is like a badillion like
Yeah.
Venezuelan dollars. Like trying to present it as like everything's fine.
Mhm.
And I had a friend who literally used to work for me when I was working on a campaign. Literally used to be like my right-hand man. And he cites the Gray Zone and this, like, anytime I brought up what happened with the Uyghurs, or I would talk about Hong Kong, and he'd be like, "Well, I mean, like CIA operation," and I would just be baffled.
That's all, dude. The CIA is the QAnon to left-leaning people. Unironically, dude, the CIA is like the most powerful fucking organization in the fuck. They do literally everything. It's unreal. But somehow they're constantly being thwarted by people on Twitter and YouTube, I guess. But
this is why I mostly make content with right-wingers, because I want to concentrate the vast majority of my content, like combating right-wing ideas, because I have a deep hope and sincerity that I hope this is mostly online stuff, and I want to concentrate my work in doing stuff in the real world, right? Like I just started as a financial director for a 2022 campaign, which I'm really excited to announce. I'm trying to do more work around that. But like anytime I see this, it feels like it's gonna drag me in, you know?
Yeah.
It's so infuriating. I don't know. It just gets me, and I don't The thing is, remember when I talked to you about Bolivia, and I made the argument to you that it was a coup because if you look at like the vast majority of the characteristics, it falls under it, and we had to think. In that, I used all information that was publicly available, and I didn't speculate on anything, right? And I would say, like, if looking back with the amount of indigenous people that were murdered by Anez and all that, I would think like, oh, it looks like I was pretty on point. But then there's a lot of people who look at the situation and have just been like, I don't know how they do this, but they just say it's CIA, it's a given, with zero fucking evidence. And I remember having like a 2-hour debate with somebody about that, and just baffled because they could say, well, if you look at historical trends, it was probably them, with just zero evidence. Just the idea that right-wing fascists or terrible people could not do terrible things without the CIA being involved.
Yeah, and the crazy thing too that ironically enough, I picked up from the lefties was I got screamed at to read history so many times, and I actually I had such a higher view of like socialism and communism and those regimes until I actually started to read up on like what was happening. Because basically my view of the world, even being like a neoliberal / SOCDEM, I just assumed like America did a whole bunch of horrible fucking shit overseas all the time to like fuck over like other regimes, and that's just what America did. But it was way more two-sided than that in almost like every circumstance. Like there's like foreign affairs is just really messy coming from all sorts of.
Here's a great example. When we talk about the war in Afghanistan, I could talk about the recent reports about the Australian SAS or them posing with like legs, or I could talk about like the dropping a mother of all bombs, or I could talk about our mismanagement of funds, or I could talk about how Donald Rumsfeld, while going into Afghanistan, he was asked like, Pakistan, and do you know the history between Pakistan and like the Taliban at all, or the
not that well. No.
Basically, Pakistan was just like, how about we support that? That's the most simple way to put it.
Sure.
Basically,
I mean, we found Bin Laden in Pakistan, right? So that's not surprising.
Yeah, all the bad guys went to Pakistan, and then they came back, and then they went back and forth, and it's really complicated. But that's all you need to know. And Donald Rumsfeld was like asked, like in private, like, So what do you have to? What should we do? What about Pakistan? Are they our ally? He said, I don't know, and like laughed about it. And then we just went in, and we just never fucking addressed it, if whether they were going to be our ally in the region or not. She's like, I don't know. They could be. They couldn't be. Who knows? Let's go in. Just not having game plans for these things that Barbara Lee brought up at the time. I can criticize all that. And about 180,000 people to 200,000 people died in the war in Afghanistan. A terrible amount. Over 1 million were killed in a war half the length during the Soviet campaign. If you pull up, and I do recommend you do this, if you pull up the population of Afghanistan, check between the dates 1979 and 1989, you literally see the population of Afghanistan fucking dip. It's insane.
Yeah.
And these are things that, see that shit? It's fucking wild. And these are things that are just never talked about. And I just don't understand. I feel like a lot of people, I don't like imperialism. It's alt imperialism's fine. It's like the people who support like China, what they're doing in the South China Sea, or like try to make excuses for the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Like, no, they were actually supporting a government that called them in, and they won't bring up the assassination of certain things. And it just feels like, well, no, imperialism fines. It's just alt imperialism. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like alternative imperialism. It's like, I fucking hate your Coca-Cola. I hate those carbonated drinks. Let me go get my Pepsi.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
I hate that, yeah, I don't know. I feel like my whole life I've been a useful idiot for other groups of people. I do that really well, I guess. It just kind of disappoints me. Because I figured...
be a useful idiot. Anyway, you want to come on my show?
Yeah. Wait, when is it?
I was
just... Oh, okay, I don't know. Because somebody asked me to go on something Saturday. I don't know if it was here or not, but I'm going to be in Omaha. Yeah, it feels like, because I was so confident in saying things like, oh, like, okay, because like a lot of people, especially like my mom arguing with her, she's like, oh, you know, like a lot of the Democrats, they just hate America. That's all they care about is just hating America. And it's like, Mom, it's not about hating America, okay? It's about helping people. It's not about hating rich people, okay? It's about helping poor people. But like, I don't know, man. A lot of the rhetoric I see from the more kind of like extreme level is literally just like, fuck America. That's it. That's my whole politics is fuck America. That's all there is.
I got in like a little scuffle with like Bad Empanada. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Oh God, I hate that guy.
And basically, I was, Mel, I don't know what to say, but the DPRK, Tanky, Twitter.
Chaos is
Mel?
Yes, I hate that person too.
I had like a 20-minute, nobody go fucking fuck with her. She's been getting a lot of shit recently, so just, leave her alone. Everybody, please. So I had a discussion with her, and I had this long thing like, why are you not calling this a genocide? And I was like, because she was saying if it's a genocide, and we had a back and forth about it. And a clip of it was posted on Twitter, and everyone was like, whoa, that's really weird that you wouldn't call it that. Like Bad Empanada, instead of like reacting to that, saw I had American flag in my background. It was like, look, this ultra nationalist piece of shit. And then there was like a Twitter back and forth for like half of a day about whether me saying I love my country makes me an ultra nationalist.
Sure.
And I was like, well, when I say I love my country, I love it because I want my people to have health care and and all this. And it was like, so you don't think other people should have health care? And it was, I'm just listening to this and just thinking to myself, like, holy shit, like, you make Rush Limbaugh's job so easy.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was like, I had a really nasty moment when I was with my mom, just a personal feeling that like, because it was the last time I was there and we started arguing over political stuff, and just because I was definitely more informed this time than I was the time before, and I'd noticed that there were like so many stories that she was bringing up, and I had to walk back so much stuff that like the media had kind of said that I was like, okay, yeah, like this was kind of a lie, like this didn't look too good, like yeah, Mom, but like you gotta trust me on the rest of this shit. And I felt so stupid doing it, because I was like, if I was my mom, I wouldn't fucking believe me. Like Jesus Christ, like you can only tell so many fucking lies before it's like,
yeah. That's another thing. And this is something I can actually talk about, which is, I would say, is more not like a left-wing dream. Whataboutisms have fucking been getting to me like a lot. Like I'll talk about something. The weirdest version of it happened today. So I'm used to like me like bringing up what happened in the Capitol when someone's like, what about Portland, right? I'm used to that by now. And usually how I deal with it, which I think is the best way to deal with it, is just to be like, yeah, it was bad too. Anyway, back to the Capitol, right? Which I think just doing that quickly is the best way to deal with it, because if you try to dodge or do this or do that, then they'll be like, look, you're justifying that, but justifying that, hypocrite much, and they like the shit in green appears and you have to deal with that. But in this instance, it wasn't I used totally different sources to talk about how white nationalism is a legitimate security threat. Here's some like data on this if you ever want to use it. Over 50% of minority service members have said they've seen white nationalism and white supremacy and racism within the military. And this is increasing numbers from a few years ago. Now it's 1 in 3 of overall service members are saying the same thing. Our military continues to see this as an escalating threat. White nationalism is now polling as the same level of a threat to America when you ask service members as ISIS and Al Qaeda. The same, the fucking towers.
Yeah.
And like the next people in line is literally the Islamic Republic of Iran. So this is an increasing threat, according to military personnel. This is an increasing threat according to the U.S. military, and I can give you government reports of what neo-Nazis try to send data to from within the military to neo-Nazi groups, so they can cause mass casualty events that kill thousands of our soldiers. Like this is a legitimate security threat. And there was this thing a while ago about a stand-down order. That the military was going to. I'm sorry if I'm just bombarding you with information.
No, go for it.
About a. You said that so soullessly.
I'm just listening. Yeah.
I got you. So there was a stand down order that the military kind of put in place, so they can be like, hey, we should probably deal with this whole white supremacy, this whole extremism thing. But a specific thing they brought up white supremacy, right? And so like Rob Noor and a few others was like, this kind of feels like it's going to just be used against Trump supporters, right?
Sure.
And I had this like back and forth with him over it, and then after, because he was like scared that they were going to use this as like a thing to, I don't want to misrepresent him, as a thing to kind of profile supporters because this senator said something about white people, and I was just so blown away, and that wasn't even the weirdest one, because then the data that was being cited, like this data that's being cited about white supremacy, isn't even data I cited. They brought up a report that I never mentioned to counter me about how I was talking white supremacy. That other people had cited a report incorrectly. I didn't, and that was somehow being used against me.
I would say, just from my personal
fucking
perspective,
confused.
I don't trust that. I think the Rob guy is on Demon Mama's level tier of like very, very, very bad faith actor. But that's just been every single encounter I've ever had with him. Maybe he's different with you.
Okay, here's something I think I might disagree with you on. I think that it actually might make sense to enact with bad faith actors and actually have interactions with them.
Yeah, it can if you can like control yourself doing it. I don't disagree with you actually at all there. But the only reason why I'm worried about certain bad faith actors is because if I do interact with them, I want it to be in an environment where I have control of the conversation. So my rule is that I won't interact with them on other shows. I don't want to be like on a 12-person panel with Rob, because if he starts saying some crazy shit, I can't
counter it.
I can't catch him out on anything. Yeah, because there's too many people.
This is something I actually 100%. I think I've started to agree with you on that. There's certain people that in roundtable formats you just can't let run wild because they'll dominate the conversation and say so much you can never interact with it.
And it's way too much.
It's a lot easier to cause a mess than to clean it up. So when somebody spreads disinformation, it takes you 10 minutes to like take apart something that somebody says in 10 seconds, and they've already said 20 things.
Yeah.
And you're never gonna have the amount of time to respond to all of it, and you're never gonna get the notepad out, and it's a fucking disaster. Like for instance, I know you were, I don't know if I ever brought this up to you. You were on Tim Pool's show, right?
Yeah, one time, yeah.
Did I bring up the Pipeline-istan thing to you yet?
Pipeline-istan?
So when he was there, while you were on his show, Tim Pool was bringing up the idea that we got involved in Syria due to a pipeline.
Oh, this is a comment. Ryan Dawson has brought this up before.
Yes.
The idea was that we wanted to run a pipeline.
Through the Qatari government basically made a proposal to the Assad government, like, hey, we're going to do this pipeline thing, and it's going to be really
And
cool.
Israel and Turkey were threatened by their control of the Mediterranean, so they wanted to go fuck everything up related to that or some shit.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a million problems wrong with this conspiracy theory. It has to do with how pipelines work and how this would actually be extremely difficult to even function. When you talk about because this is also the idea is that Iran had a separate pipeline that they were proposing, and we were scared of that being formed. And that's also had to do with undermining Russia's energy stuff. There's a million problems with whether this pipeline would even function, but the nations involved, and actually some of them that would need to be exporting oil here or that are importing oil. We could talk about how Assad has never publicly talked about this being a thing that even happened, and most certainly has never talked about it being a reason. And if you were Bashar al-Assad, wouldn't you want to bring this the fuck up? And it's kind of weird that dumb fucks on the internet figured out it was all for a pipeline, but the literal leader of the Syrian government, who would want to use this a million times over, has never used it. We could talk about how we don't really actually have an official evidence that the meeting for the Qatari pipeline even happened. Technically, I have to go back and check that one again.
Yeah.
But I think it was just from a kind of like a Russian report, like a byline, and it was never real evidence. There's a million problems with this, right? And I also wanted to tell you that, just so I can send you sources on it if you want it.
Sure.
If you ever got to talk to one of these people again.
I believe you, but yeah.
Oh, thank you for the trust. But
well, I mean, what you're saying is like logically follows, right?
Yeah.
Like, if this was something that Assad saw happening, it feels like he would publicize this to get people on his side, if for no other reason than for propaganda, right? Yeah.
But Ryan Dawson figured it out, and Tim Pool figured it out, but the literal government of Syria did not. So there's a million problems with it. 20 of which I haven't even mentioned yet. I can give you this like 20-page article about it, but whatever. But the amount of time it takes me to explain why that's wrong, it took Tim Pool 10 seconds to say it.
Yeah, you can lay out bad claims. There's a saying for this. It's like a lie is halfway around the world before the truth even gets up and gets its pants on or something. There's like a saying for that. Yeah.
That's exact. It takes, this is the way somebody put it to me today, and it's really good. It's a lot easier to clean a mess than it is to make one. I mean, it's easier to make a mess than it is to clean one up, right? The idea that it takes you like 20, 30 seconds to make the mess, fucking an hour to clean it up. If you look at like anybody who ever made a mess.
Yeah.
So that's something that's really difficult with me. And there's a few people that I've told to great backlash from them that, hey, I don't think you're good for the roundtable format, but I would still be willing to do 1v1s. And it's really hard to explain to them, of course, like it's hard for me not to say like kind of like conspiracy theorist piece of shit, but want to come on at another time.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's hard for you to say that.
Yeah, and I think Rob does that a lot. I think Rob is really good with just like laying out like you can be like it can be a question about like some innocuous topic too, and he will just like start laying out like insane conspiracy theories.
Yeah, the thing is I'd love to defend Rob because I've talked to him a million times on the conspiracy theory thing, but he has said on countless times about how like Assad didn't really guess his people, or I've heard him say, and I directly brought up Pipelinistan today because I thought maybe he'd push back on it, but I've brought up Pipelinistan because I've heard him say the similar thing, and I'm just like standing there just baffled because when you bring someone on when you're on a platform, you're not prepared for these conversations because the conversations you need to have once somebody said something like that, you need to be prepped for. It's like if I just brought somebody on my show, right, and out of nowhere they're just like, so when we talk about gas chambers, really, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You're not prepared for that. What the fuck do you do? That level of conspiracy, I'm just not ready for. I know you're wrong. I would like to say you're wrong, but then I say like, dude, that's a conspiracy theory. That's insane. And then they say, prove it. Then what the fuck do you do?
Yeah,
at that point, like, I guess, do you stop the show? But then does that just give them ammunition to be like, hey, I'm a truth teller. I was silenced. Da da da.
Yeah, of course.
Like what? You're just in a position of where, if you, no matter how you play, you lose.
Yeah, this is why I don't do conspiracy theorists on panel shows, and then I'll only debate a conspiracy theorist if I've had a lot of time to specifically prep for what they're gonna say and everything. And people will call you a coward for it, but like. The reality is that like I've always said, like I'll lose a debate against the world's smartest flat earther every single time. And I think I know enough about flat earth now that I could debate most people and win a debate about flat earth. Like I could be the flat earther and win against most people because you need to have like a lot of very obscure physics knowledge to be able to argue against like a smart flat earther. And yeah,
it's the same thing with foreign policy. Like if somebody says something about foreign policy, like a very common thing that pisses me off is they were all about oil. All these wars were about oil. And that pisses me off because it simplifies extremely complicated topics to just one resource when it has to do with legitimate national security interests. It has to do with trade routes. With when you talk about like certain areas between like Yemen and Somalia and all these other interests. It has to do with domestic voter interests, like the evangelical community. There's a million things that go into it. But when somebody says these wars are all for oil,
it's pretty simplistic.
It's extremely simplistic, and that's another thing. Things that are simple, people
yeah, of course. So when you can give like one thing,
it's all for oil, simple, easy. You don't have to ever like think about it again. It's just for evil. It's all for evil oil, and you don't need to talk about all the other factors that are actually involved in this.
Yeah, I really don't know in terms of misinformation going forward what It's gonna happen anywhere. Everything is pretty fucked right now.
You know, this is kind of why my position on like deplatforming has completely changed. Like I think I'm like 100% fine with like Trump being taken off of Twitter. I think I'd be 100% fine with basically a lot of these conspiracy theories being pulled off of Twitter, because I think the modern media landscape and conspiracy theory is just with you being able to say anything with no filter and people just believe that shit so quick. It has it's poison for liberal democracies. It's literal poison, and other countries' governments are exploiting it too. Fucking Russia literally is exploiting it by spreading disinformation during election season to try to get their preferred candidates to win, which people will still say for whatever reason that's conspiracy theory. Even Trump's own government, its own government reports have proven that they're putting that out.
Yeah. It's crazy that people that was another talking point, that people like Rob will say things like the Russian investigation, and it's like,
but
dude,
it happened. It's
how,
just legitimate.
And even aside from that, how many people, like it was like 6 major figures. What was it, like Gates, Papadopoulos, Cohen, Manafort, Stone? Like these are people that are like not now because of the pardons, but like a lot of these people were in federal prison, like because they were fucking guilty, dog. Like what do you mean it turned out nothing? How do you even say this?
Look, buddy, if I do, Rachel Maddow said this thing that wasn't right, so. What do you think about that?
True. Well,
true. Yeah.
In 2016, did you know that Rachel Maddow said this thing, and there's like one guy that actually knows about this, and that proves the whole. It's like, oh well, you got me.
Yeah, but what about the P tapes? That never came up, huh?
True. Yeah.
You think about that?
True.
No. And that's why she voted for Trump. Here's another thing that gets me. Do you think the Hunter Biden thing was a decent strategic move by the Republicans, or like a terrible one? Because I think it's a terrible strategic move, like the whole Hunter Biden, like putting all their chips in that basket.
I mean, they needed more if they were going to make it work. The problem is nothing juicy actually came out of it, right?
Yeah, it was like the laptop, and they tried to do it. I think it was, the thing is, the conspiracy was too complicated, too unproven, and too just out there, and too difficult to understand.
To be fair, I think every foreign policy related thing I don't think most actually, I'm positive of this, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Most Americans don't know what happened with Trump and Ukraine. Even like a basic explanation. I don't know if most people would understand it.
Yeah. Most people don't even understand the Russia shit. They just think, because this is what I see from like the average Democrat would be like, oh, Trump's Putin's bitch, and that'll be it, right?
Yeah, nobody realizes like the Guccifer shit, that was like directed by Putin, and it infiltrated DNC servers, and we know how this whole thing worked. Like, and then like Assange worked with these people to selectively.
We can look at the disinformation centers that were set up by Putin to spread disinformation.
Yeah, the Internet Research Agency, I think the IRA or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it's all there.
We can look at all this, but it's so fucking complicated. Nobody's gonna take the time. Not to mention the thing that got me like eventually like maybe say I got into foreign policy eventually out of spite. I had a government teacher who I was arguing with about who we should like support for an office of some sort. And I was like, well, they said this thing about a really aggressive bombing campaign that killed a lot of civilians, and it was pretty bad, and and then this is a government teacher at my school. He looks me in the face and says, well, nobody votes on foreign policy anyway, so I'm gonna vote for him.
True.
And it pissed me off so much that even like our government teachers were just completely throwing foreign policy away, even though we have more military bases all around the world than any other country on the planet. We're the most globalized we've ever been, and it's the thing that the President of the United States will have the most control of out of every other avenue. And it's just we have the most powerful empire in the world, but you wouldn't know it if you talk to any American to ever exist.
Sure.
And nobody knows anything about it. It's fucking that shit.
Fucking wild, dog.
Pisses me off, because how can we have a voter base, a country that has more military bases around the world than any country on earth? Its economy, if it farts, could cause a depression worldwide if it does it the wrong way. Have part of international agreements, nuclear treaties that could literally end the world if they go haywire. One of the biggest arsenal of nuclear weapons that could destroy the world. The most powerful military to ever exist, the most powerful economy to ever exist. We have the most part of the most powerful military alliance in history. We literally fought the other most powerful empire in the history of the world and won.
I don't think it's a
in
matter of
Cold
like
War,
all power and
and
scale. It's just a matter of complexity. I think that these issues are just like way too complex for the average person to like really.
I know it's just wild to think of all this, and none of them could basically no Americans, if I showed them a map, could point out all the countries we like even have like troops in, or even have been or technically like engaging in a war in, or know anything that's what's going on with foreign policy.
Yeah,
That
I mean, it's all
President of the United
complicated
States
shit.
backstabbed an ally that led to politicians getting executed, and nobody even knows what could point out Syria on a map. I don't know. It just pisses me off.
I mean, people don't even understand domestic policy, so I mean, it's not
true.
It's just how it is.
True. Could you point out Syria on a map?
You gnome fuck!
Hold on.
Hey man, thanks
it's
for
12
all the
paragraphs
sick
initial, I'm
content since the early SC2 days. Never really had the money to sub during the time since I was a kid, but now I finally have a good career. Was watching your podcast with PKA and just wanted to support you for once.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, Syria is south of Turkey. Syria is bordering in west of Iraq.
Well, there you go. Good job.
Thanks, I try.
You're more qualified than 90% of political commentators.
I try to be sometimes. I used to be able to remember some of the cities, I think. Is Aleppo in the northwest part of Syria?
What is Aleppo? that shit still
one.
gets me, man.
I think Damascus is like the middle
Damascus.
south. Damascus is like western somewhere. I think I used to be able to find this because I had to look at the remember the locations of these places for like Damascus was important for the Ghouta, I think, chemical weapons attacks, and then the UN people that went in to investigate and where they got like shot at by snipers while they were going there. Like, yeah. I know Middle Eastern geography better than U.S. geography at this point.
Yeah, there's Kobane, there's Raqqa, there's a lot of there's a lot of cities in Syria. Who'd have thought? Locations. Did you hear about my my new project with the belt?
With the belt?
With the belt.
No.
The Dylan Burns TV brand belts. No.
I think if I would have heard about that, I probably could have named the belt. So no, I'm gonna continue to say no.
No, I made a custom wrestling belt for the Hippie Dippy roundtable for like podcasting, and we're going to have it. We're gonna have people debate to like get the belt, and then they'd have to defend it every month or two. And it's like a wrestling type event.
And you'd like ship this around or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, no. We make a custom one for each person.
Oh.
We send them out because a lot of people don't know in boxing. Like you see, like people like lose a boxing match and they pass the belt over. When they get behind closed doors, they actually just give the belt back and they ship the person like a new one in 3 weeks. But obviously that would be a lot less dramatic. So the idea would be that if you win it, you get the actual belt. Like we mail it to you. You have it, and then when you lose it, we mail a new belt to the new person. They're the current champion, and we just do it around and send it around. And I think it's fun. I think a lot of problems with Twitch, with politics on Twitch, is like
no reigning champions.
You will have reigning champions.
No, I'm saying that's the problem with Twitch. Is there's no reigning champions.
There's no reigning. That is
people don't know who the true debate master is. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I think it's fun.
We need some goddamn titles.
It is true. I think the problem is, and I think a lot of people who get onto political Twitch want to make Twitch more like politics when they're talking it, when I think you need to make politics more like Twitch if you want to get people's attention. You got to like make it like flamboyant. You got to make it attention grabby. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Do you think the idea, though, is toxic?
I don't know. It depends on how the debates are. I think you can have really like vicious debates that are like good. And then you can also have really friendly debates that are shit. So.
True. That is true. Do you know what the first one's on?
The first what?
The first match. We already have it scheduled. It's been announced.
Yeah, I think, wait, fuck, who was this? I feel like I read this. Either you messaged me this or I saw this on Twitter. Who is it?
Probably Twitter.
Is it Bastian somebody, or?
It's Vosh v. Bastiat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vosh v. Bastiat. Like, it's going to be debating socialism. Then we'll have that champ. And then
debating socialism? Just...
Socialism versus capitalism.
Okay, interesting. All right.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if it's the first match, we got to go back to basics, right?
Sure.
Then you go from there. And the idea is eventually, I want it to like, eventually I want the belt to like go to other communities. Like eventually I would like to see it like, eventually like, I want to have like somebody beat maybe a conservative in a debate and they're like a gaming streamer, and then they can go debate somebody on like what's better, like Bloodborne or the other one. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one? Bloodborne and Dark Souls.
Bloodborne, Dark Souls, and second.
Yeah, which one's better, and they can debate that. And Sekiro, Miyamoto.
Wait, so would Bastia have
Sorry,
to, or Vosh, whoever wins the belt, would they have to continue to debate people on like topics that they're not even remotely well versed in?
No. They would debate people that. Well, the idea is we'd find somebody who overlaps. A great example would be Hutch, right? Hutch talks politics and gaming. So if he won it in a politics match, then he could choose to do. Then we could be like, let's see if we can get a gaming person to win this instead. And we're going to create a whole ranking system to see if, so we can try to give smaller streamers like a chance to maybe challenge for it. But the odds of that happening are pretty slim to nil.
Good, fuck small streamers.
For money reasons, because this costs a lot of money to have custom wrestling belts made every few months. Yeah, so I think it's a.
How do you figure out who wins or loses a debate?
That's the
kicker.
That's the tricky part. Obviously, we can't do polling because
the popular one is always going to win. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fucking stupid, and somebody could bot it, and there's a million reasons wrong with it. We will still do polling to encourage audience interaction, and the judges can look at that, and the judges are like this. So depending on the community, if it's a gaming community, we try to get 3 people of diverse opinions in the gaming community, and we have 3 judges. One who's strongly on one side of the issue, one who's strongly on the other side of the issue, and one that's kind of in the middle. If you were looking at Twitch, we would have one conservative, one libcuck socialist, and one moderate boy. And then you would ask them all to do their best to leave their emotions at the door and judge. And I can, of course, look at a decision, because I have final say at the end of the day, and say, that's bullshit, I'll choose. So the buck at the end of the day stops with me. But that's how decisions are going to be made. There's no way that I'm going to be able to make decisions that's not going to piss off somebody.
Yeah, of course.
But this is true of all sports that have wrestling, that have belts. Boxing, it's the same thing. There's no way there's not going to be a decision that pisses off somebody. Wrestling, that's purposeful when it pisses off people, like cheated matches. And you know what? At the end of the day, maybe I'll just be like, this match would make more money, and throw it on them because I'm a corrupt wrestling boy. Who knows? Maybe, and it's fun, you know. People hate an establishment figure who beats out the little guy. For example, can I paint you a picture?
Go. I got to sleep soon, just so you know, but go ahead. Okay,
here's a picture. Let's say we got somebody, some lovable face, like Lumiru, right? Which this would never happen, right? People love Lumi, right? Lumi's nice. Everybody like posts their emotes all the time in chat. They love Lumi. Versus Lecture Fan, and they do amazing. They beat Lecture Fan on all the points. But then you hear a little shuffling in the background, and I say, split decision, Lecture Fan, give it to them, and end stream just out of nowhere. That would piss so many people off. And Gorgeous George said something a long time ago, old wrestler, that people will pay 10 times more to see somebody they hate lose than somebody they love win.
Sure.
And I think by doing stuff like that, you can bring more attention to it and stuff like that. So, I mean, that might happen, but I'm an honorable man, so who knows?
All right, well, good luck. Don't go too crazy.
Wonderful. Would you want to participate in something like this?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it'd be fun. It's kind of what I do, right?
Wonderful. Okay, I'll put your name down. Wonderful. How much money can I bribe you with to let Bastia win?
I don't know. Oh, wait.
Just send me DMs.
Somebody might check out.
Who do you think is going to win? Do you want to make a prediction?
That's just such a vague debate. It's hard for me to say. Like,
that's why it's fun.
Socialism versus...
Well, think about the qualities of debaters, and think about what do you think they're going to...
They're both actually kind of similar. I think Bastia does a lot of kind of soapboxing sometimes, which is really funny. So it'll be a matter of who can do it better, I guess.
And if
do you hate the global poor?
And I think they're both perfect for this wrestling type format too, because they both know how to kind of lean into that type of stuff.
For sure.
Right? And they should both be producing promos and sending them to me today, but neither of them have sent them. Means neither of them have done their job, and they're irresponsible.
Yeah. Well.
No.
All right.
Anyway, you have a good night, okay?
Yeah, love you. Be careful, buddy.
Hope I didn't talk you to death.
No, you're good. Thanks for coming in.
You have a nice night.
All right, I got it. guys. It's been fun. Probably, I'll try to IRL stream this time. I love you guys. It's been fun. Red Bruno, Cappuccino, Pappuccino, Hoppuccino, Wappuccino, Wappuccino. I don't even remember the words. All right. I'll see you guys. If I don't stream, I'll see you guys on Monday. Rip on, Deuterinos. Be careful.